Hi everyone. So which of these phrases is correct? Is it your football team is losing, where losing is spelled with one O, or is it your football team is loosing, with loosing spelled with two O's? Well, the correct way to spell it is the first way, where losing is spelled with just one O, with barely an exception. That will almost always be the way you should spell it. Admittedly, they sound similar, even if not quite identical. But the most common problem here is not how people say it, but how they spell it. I'm betting you could go to almost any comment section or online chat room of a sports website right now and find dozens of people spelling losing incorrectly. The same problem exists for the verb lose too. Many people often spell it as loose with two O's, which is completely wrong. And many people also incorrectly spell loser with two O's as well, which is also wrong. Of course, when you type things incorrectly, a spell checker will tell you that you're wrong and prompt you accordingly. A slight problem with that in this situation is that all the words are actually real words and spelled correctly. It's just that they're being used in the wrong way. So the list of words you have here all exist and are all spelled correctly. You just need to know when to use each one. It's really not difficult though. If you're someone who gets these words confused, then just watch the rest of the video, and with a little practice, you'll soon get the hang of them. Let's start off with the first four of those words: lose, losing, loser, and loses. These four words are related to each other, but they have nothing whatsoever to do with the other words in the list. These four words have a negative connotation and relate to loss of some kind. Here are a few examples of how to use each of them. First, some examples of how to use lose, spelled with one O. I hope my team doesn't lose. Grandma wants to lose some weight. If you lose this game, you owe me $10. Whenever I lose my keys, the dog always finds them. And some examples of how to use losing, also with one O. If my team is winning, then your team must be losing. After losing my wallet on the train, I had no money. The doctor said that losing weight will be good for me. This season, the soccer club is on a long losing streak. And some examples of how to use loser. It's tough, but there always has to be a winner and a loser. The loser always pays for the beer after the game. Jack was successful in many ways, but always a loser at poker. Mickey was in a really bad mood. He's such a sore loser. As you can see in those examples, lose, losing, and loser either refer to the opposite of winning in some way, or to some other type of loss, such as losing the wallet on the train. And here's how to use the word loses with one O. Anna nearly always loses money when she plays poker. Whether their team wins or loses, they have earned a lot of respect. Whenever Dan loses money gambling, he always says, "Never again." After just a couple of drinks, he loses all sense of sobriety. So as you can see, there isn't a double O in sight. All of those examples use the spelling with a single O, and there are no cases where you would ever spell them otherwise. However, there are words which look similar, spelled with double O, but they have completely different meanings and have nothing to do with loss or not winning at all. So let's check out these other words. So the first one, loose, which has two O's, can really have two separate meanings. The first is similar in meaning to slack, or the opposite of tight. Here are some examples of using loose with two O's. And this is the word which people most commonly use in error, when they should be using lose with one O as we already discussed. The new jeans I bought felt a bit loose. I guess they're too big. The door handle is loose and nearly falling off. If I shake the chair hard enough, I'm sure a few screws will come loose. Hey look, I found some loose change behind the sofa. As I said just now, loose with two O's also has another meaning, but we'll get to that later. However, as you can see, this version of the spelling has nothing at all to do with winning or losing. It's to do with being detached or not being tight in some way. The next two spellings are closely related to loose with two O's. So again, some examples. Firstly, with looser. Now this is the word which mistakenly gets used in place of loser very often. But again, it has nothing to do with losing. Ah yes, now that I've lost some weight, these jeans feel much looser. I'd feel better with a much looser agreement between us. Now that I've kicked the chair a few times, I can see that the screws are looser than before. If you shake the jar a little, then maybe the lid will become looser. Hopefully you can see the way in which the word is used here. And as already noted, it's nothing to do with winning or losing or loss in any shape or form whatsoever. Alright, some more examples. This time our word is loosen. Could you loosen the lid on this jar, please? If I loosen this belt anymore, my trousers may fall down. The rules are very strict. I think we should loosen the restrictions. I'm sure a bottle of wine will loosen his tongue a little. Hopefully by now you're getting the idea that the first three words we discussed, lose, losing, and loser, are completely unrelated to the others in the list. But we still have a couple to go. First we have loosing, spelled with two O's. You could probably go your entire lifetime without ever needing to use this word or even ever seeing it in its correct context, but it is a word, even if it isn't used very often. It basically means to set free or to relax one's grip in some way. Let's take a look at the examples. The huntmaster will be loosing the hounds soon. The security guards are loosing their dogs on the protesters. If you wanted to refer to the same events in the past tense, then you could equally say, the huntmaster loosed the hounds, and the security guards loosed their dogs on the protesters. And that brings us to the final example, which is the second meaning of the word loose, with two O's, which is directly related to the examples we just looked at. So in the first definition, we used it to refer to loose jeans and loose door handles, among other things. But in the second definition, it means to set free. Again, back to our hounds and dogs. The huntmaster will loose the hounds when the foxes appear. The security guards are brutal and will loose their dogs if they see anyone approaching. The prisoners were all set loose at dawn. Alright, hopefully all of that didn't confuse you too much. The words are very similar, but once you become familiar with the different meanings and with a little practice, you'll soon be choosing the right word every time. Okay, here's a quick quiz. Just fill in the blank spaces with one of the words on the left. Each word is used only once. You may want to pause the video for a few moments to do this. Okay, in just a few seconds I'll provide the answers, so pause the video if you need more time. Alright, hopefully you got most of those right, but don't worry if you didn't, just keep practicing. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found the video useful. See you next time.
If you liked this video, please take a moment just to click the like and the subscribe buttons below. Your support is much appreciated. Thank you for watching.